Have you ever really stopped to think about where your thoughts come from or your dreams? Carl Jung, one of the great explorers of the mind, believed that to even begin to answer that, you need a map of the psyche. So in this explainer, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to build that map piece by piece and chart the hidden territories inside all of us. But first, let me ask you something directly. Just think about yourself for a second. Your thoughts, your gut feelings, the things you do without really knowing why. How much of that inner world feels truly known to you? And how much of it feels like it's coming from, well, somewhere else, somewhere you can't quite see? That very mystery is what Jung dedicated his entire life to exploring. And this quote from Jung himself just nails it. He saw our consciousness, the part of us we think of as me, as just this incredibly thin skin. And underneath it, a massive, uncharted ocean. Our goal today is to peel back that surface, just a little, and start mapping the incredible depths below. So let's start our journey on solid ground, in the world we all know, the conscious mind. This is everything we're aware of right now, everything we can think about on purpose. And sitting right at the center of it all, kind of like a command center for our sense of self, is what Jung called the ego. So what exactly is the ego? Well, for Jung, it's the part of you that says, I. It's built from a few key things: your general awareness that you exist in a body, plus that continuous string of memories that makes up your life's story. I love this idea of it being like a magnet. For any thought, feeling, or sensation to become conscious, it has to be pulled in and stick to the ego first. But the ego isn't just sitting there. It has to navigate the world, right? And Jung believed it does this using 4 fundamental tools, or what he called functions. These are basically the 4 primary ways our conscious mind gets its bearings and makes sense of reality. First up, we have sensation. This is the most straightforward one. It's the function that simply tells you that something exists. It doesn't judge, it doesn't analyze, it just registers the raw data. It's the part of you that says, I see a red light, or this coffee is hot, or that's a loud noise. It's all about the concrete facts of the here and now perceived through your senses. Next, we have thinking. Now, if sensation tells you that a thing is, the thinking function's job is to tell you what it is. This is your inner logic engine. It takes that raw data and starts naming, categorizing, and connecting the dots. It's the part that says, that red light means I have to stop the car, or that loud noise is a siren. It's trying to build an intellectual understanding of your experience. The third function is feeling. And listen, this is a really important distinction. For Jung, feeling is not the same as emotion. Emotion is more of a messy, physical reaction. Jungian feeling is a rational tool of evaluation. Its job is to tell you the value of something. Is this good or bad? Do I like it or dislike it? Is this important to me? It's the function that says, I hate being stuck at this red light, or I find the sound of that siren upsetting. And finally, there's intuition. While the other 3 functions are mostly focused on what is, right here, right now, intuition is all about what could be. It's that hunch, that flash of insight. It sees the big picture, the possibilities, where things came from and where they're headed. And crucially, Jung saw this as a kind of perception that comes from the unconscious. It's a theme we're definitely going to come back to. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Jung arranged these 4 functions in opposing pairs. You've got thinking on one side and feeling on the other. Then you have sensation opposite intuition. Why? Because you can't really do both at the same time. You can't be doing a cold, logical analysis of a situation while in that exact same moment also deciding how it makes you feel personally. This opposition means that we all tend to rely on one function more than the others, which becomes our dominant way of seeing the world. And the one opposite it, that becomes our inferior function, often a blind spot, but also, as Jung saw it, a huge source of our potential for growth. All right, so we've got a basic map of the conscious world. But remember Jung's quote? That's just the skin. Now it's time to cross the border, to leave the bright light of consciousness and step into the first layer of shadow, the personal unconscious. And this is a really critical piece of Jung's model. He didn't just see the unconscious as this one big, messy basement. No, he saw it as having 2 very distinct layers. The first is all about us as individuals. The second is much, much deeper and a whole lot weirder. The personal unconscious is basically your own private history archive. Think of it as a storage room for everything you've ever experienced that you just aren't thinking about right now. We're talking forgotten memories, feelings you've pushed aside, skills you've learned, and even those brilliant creative ideas that seem to pop up out of nowhere.
It's all the stuff that could be conscious, but for whatever reason isn't at the moment. And now we go deeper. Beyond our own personal story, beyond our own memories, lies Jung's most radical, most groundbreaking idea. It's a second, deeper layer of the unconscious that isn't personal at all. He called it the collective unconscious.
This quote captures the logic perfectly. Jung's reasoning it was beautiful. He said, look, our bodies carry the entire evolutionary history of our species, right? We have tailbones and structures in our brains that go back to when we were reptiles. Why on earth would our minds be any different? He proposed that the human brain itself is born with a kind of psychic structure that holds the history of what it means to be human. So let's just lay it out side by side to make it super clear. The personal unconscious is your story, made of stuff from your life. It's unique to you. But the collective unconscious, its contents were never learned or experienced by you personally. They are universal. They are mythological. They belong to everybody. It is our shared psychic inheritance as human beings. So if this collective layer exists, what's in it? What does this shared inheritance actually look like? Well, Jung called its contents the archetypes. You can think of them as the echoes of the most ancient, most fundamental human experiences. An archetype is like a primordial blueprint. It's a pattern. Think about classic figures you see everywhere. The hero, the trickster, the wise old man, the great mother, the dragon that needs to be slain. These aren't specific characters, they're universal templates that pop up in myths, religions, and fairy tales from every culture across the globe. For Jung, these are the psychic building blocks of what it means to be human. Now, to make this idea really land, check out this amazing example from Jung's work. He had a patient, a man who was uneducated, had no special knowledge of history or mythology, and this man had a dream about a figure being crucified, but not on a cross. He was crucified on a wheel. Now, a cross, that would make sense, right? He would have seen that in his culture. But a wheel? That is an incredibly ancient mythological symbol for the sun god, far, far older than the cross. And this is the million-dollar question that drove Jung. If this man had never learned about this symbol, if it wasn't part of his personal history or education, then where in the world did it come from? How could his mind, all on its own, produce an image from the deepest, most ancient past of humanity? Answering that question brings our whole journey together. It completes the map and gives us a completely new way of looking at ourselves and our place in the world. Jung's answer was simple and profound. The image of the sun wheel bubbled up from the collective unconscious. It came from that deepest layer of the mind where he argued we stop being separate little individuals. On this fundamental, structural level, we are all connected. We are all one, sharing the same basic patterns, the same psychic story of humankind. And there it is. Our map is complete. You have consciousness with the ego at the center, using its 4 functions to see the world. That rests on top of your personal unconscious, all your forgotten bits and pieces. And beneath all of that, connecting you to everyone who has ever lived, is the collective unconscious, our shared archetypal human inheritance. But look, this map isn't just some abstract theory. It's an invitation. It suggests that inside every single one of us, we have a direct connection to the entire human story. So I want to leave you with this question. If your mind holds the history of humanity, all its myths and all its wisdom, what ancient stories might it be trying to tell you?